Well, Arne, obviously heartbreak at the end. How would you assess what you've seen?
Another great Liverpool Man City game, as we've seen so many times over the last few years. And this was again one of them, but for us, of course, a very disappointing outcome with a 2-1 loss.
What did you make of your performance? The start first half, would you agree they had the better of the opening 45 minutes?
Yeah, they did. Were more comfortable in the ball than us. So they had the better than us, but that didn't lead to many big chances apart from in the first minute. I think Haaland was close to a goal. But I think in the second half it was completely the opposite, where I was waiting for a goal, and when we got it I was waiting for the second. But in the moment, maybe one of the only moments when they were in and around our box in the second half, it was immediately a goal, unfortunately for us, because we defended well, we played well, especially second half, but we conceded a 1-1, and then just after that it was Curtis Jones who had the ball in the midfield, Mo Salah who made a deep run. I think it was a 4 versus 3 situation, I don't know. If that ball goes through, it's 3v1 to the goalkeeper. But unfortunately, Gueye intercepted it, and then we all saw what happened in extra time, where we conceded a penalty.
So how did you change the flow of that game, second half, before obviously they then come back late on?
No, we didn't. Tactically, we didn't even change that much, but I think we put a lot of energy in the first half to try to press them really high, but they were very comfortable on the ball, although we were a few times closer winning the ball back. But if the game goes on, you're always hoping that you can keep yourself the energy going, and if the other team then gets a bit tired, sometimes they start to make mistakes, and maybe that's what happened. And then our fans were completely behind us, as they've always been, and that combination led to a very, very, very good and impressive second half, but not the result we wanted.
Do you have the sense at all that anything's gone against you unfairly today? So, I mean, the chuckle says yes, does it?
We can talk about every incident, and everybody has an opinion about this, and that's the difficulty. There are never in football 100-0 decisions. There are always 2 or 3 people to find that have a different opinion. The one I would, if I have to talk about one moment, I would like to talk about the one time Mo was through on goal.
Mark Gueye.
And Gueye hold his shirt. Everyone who's been in the stadium for the past 8 years knows that if Mo Salah comes in that situation, it's a goal. So that is definitely a goal-scoring opportunity. So maybe that is, 80-21. Maybe we can find 20 people, probably from not the FA, from the PGMOL.
That's it.
Probably from there we can find 20 people who tell you that it's not a red card. But I think in general, everybody who looks at it will tell you that should have been a red card. And the other incidents are maybe a little bit more 50-50 today.
How much did your bench hurt you today, if that's not unkind on the guys who were there? You know, you had the injuries. Were you not able to impact and affect the game quite as you would have liked?
No, I'm not too sure, because I don't think we needed to impact the game off the bench because we played so well. So yeah, of course, now with Dominic having a suspension and he's playing at fullback, without him being a fullback, but he played really well, by the way. But yeah, we have to accept that and find a solution for Wednesday when we face Sunderland.
What did you make of the goals you conceded? Is preventable fair for both of them?
Preventable?
Preventable. Could have stopped them.
Nah, every goal is a possibility to prevent them, but sometimes also quality on the other side and the margins are really small. The first one, like I said, deflection, headed in. Bernardo Silva anticipated really well. Ali was close to it, but I think it went past him. I'm sure it went past him because it went in. And in the second goal, Ali tries to go for the ball. He's too late. Nunez has the ball. Ball is over the line, but then there's contact. Yeah, maybe there's an 80-20 that 80 people out of 100 say it's a penalty. Maybe even 100 out of 100. I don't know. I don't want to debate that decision. The one I would debate the most, if I may, then it's the one from Mo.
Where do you think this leaves you in terms of your form, but also in terms of your fight for Champions League football? Looks like you've got a real scrap on your hands there.
Yeah, of course, we know how the league table looks like, but we also know that there are a lot of games still to be played. And said to the players again that they showed today where they're capable of. And I definitely see progression, but as we also know that there are not so many games left to be played, so there's not a lot of room for error or mistake for us left. And another time, in my opinion, we didn't got what we deserved, but yeah, I can keep saying it. People probably get annoyed or like, there he is again. But yeah, I try to analyze the game as fair as possible, and that's what I'm trying to do now again.
Well, Virgil, obviously tough to take at the end there. How did you see it across the 90 minutes?
First half, I think they were much more comfortable on the ball. We obviously trying to be more direct, try to put the problem on their half, because obviously we knew that they were they will go sort of with a press that they look to get it to our right side and go from there. And I think we weren't good enough in the first half. Second half, I think we were much better, much more dominance on the ball as well at times, and obviously score a worldie of a free kick. And I think then obviously they will come out, press more, than they even do, and score an equaliser. And I think between the equaliser and the penalty moment, I think both teams trying to, in my opinion right now, by the way, maybe others have a different opinion, but try to go for the winner, and the penalty moment decides the game, and yeah, that's the feeling I'm having.
So second half, I mean, particularly after you go in front, did you feel in more or less complete control?
You're never in complete control against City, and especially when City is 1-0 down, they will come and pressure even more. They get subs on, they make more runs. If you see how they play, obviously they play with sort of a 4-4-2 with a diamond on the middle, so you have to communicate well. When Semenyo is coming in the middle, if Milos has to follow, or midfield has to take him, so it's like you're never comfortable, and you always have to be on your toes, I think. Like I said, my feeling at the moment, and maybe I'm wrong, is that after the equaliser, we were both trying everything to try and score the winner. There was obviously a lot of situations and decisions that happened today that obviously decided eventually the game as well.
So you're talking about refereeing decisions there?
No, obviously, like just in general, I think moments in the game. So, yeah, so that's what I mean.
So no complaints, particularly. There are, as there seems to be pretty much every game, big decisions in the match. Guéhi pulling back, Salah. Perhaps you could see a different decision. What would have been the third goal would be another one. The penalty would be another.
Yeah, obviously we have no influence on that. I think the penalty with Nunes, I think, yeah, he could have given it it went so fast. But yeah, we have only ourselves to blame, and we have to quickly turn our attention to Sunderland, because yeah, that's going to be a very tough one, hell of a job. Team that's obviously unbeaten at home this season, and yeah, good challenge ahead of us.
Do you still feel, despite the result, perhaps it's difficult at this moment when you're still gutted, that performance-wise this was another step forward? Do you feel like still you are in a better place than you were?
I'm not sure. It's still a process. I've mentioned it many times. I think second half felt maybe a little bit like a step up. First half we were still not fully in control, and could have done better. Should have done better. But obviously you go in half-time still 0-0, you speak with each other, come out much better in the second half, and 1-0 up, and then it's obviously a different game, and you have to handle that as well. And like I said, unfortunately today the penalty moment was the deciding moment, and yeah, that's the reality.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jamie, what do you think? Did Liverpool deserve more today?
I think Man City were by far the better team first half. I think Liverpool had a spell in the second half, I think for probably 20-25 minutes, where they looked like they had Man City on the rack. I don't think Liverpool deserved to win. Maybe you could argue a draw would have been maybe a fair result. But
what do you think they would reflect on that's cost them?
Big mistakes again. And That's the 4th time now this season they've conceded a 90th minute winner. So it's not a one-off. It happens all the time. And I'd be interested to see what the manager says. But the manager's taken a lot of criticism from Liverpool supporters this season, and some of it warranted. But if you notice, we're in the 3rd stage of Liverpool this season. So at the start of the season, Liverpool games were like that, and it was end to end, and they were being very lucky, and they went in the last minute. And then they had the thing where the manager thought, this has to stop. We're in a spell of losing 9 games in 12, I think it was, and then he went more defensive, more pragmatic. The Mo Salah thing blows up, and then Liverpool start getting results, not winning a lot of games, but not losing too many. But it's boring. You're coming to Anfield, no one's getting excited, so there's criticism on the back of that. Now we've come back sort of the last few weeks, let's say since Mo Salah's come back from the African nations, Liverpool have played a front 4, and that was my worry today. Now, that was a great game. If you're at home as a neutral, you've thought, what a game that was. But you say the same against Newcastle. You say the same against Bournemouth away. Great for the neutral. Lost 2 out of 3. So the manager's going to have a decision to make again. And I'm not just talking about Mo Salah, but I'm talking about a front 4. I thought today the way to go probably would have been putting, I'm not just saying this after the event, I said this before the game, but maybe putting Verts to the left, maybe playing Curtis Jones. I think if Liverpool continue the way they are, with a front 4 and games end to end, I just don't see how they can make the Champions League positions at all. But no matter what he does, the makeup of this squad, the balance of the team and the squad is not right. So it never looks stable. They never look in control. Even if the game's exciting, you never feel in control. Even when the games are slow and pragmatic, it never feels like you're fully in control as well. So, yeah, I think there's a long road ahead for Liverpool to make the Champions League positions.
As Jamie says, Daniel, there was a period in that second half where Manchester City were very much on the back foot. Is there an argument that maybe perhaps Arne Slot might make that if 1 or 2 of these chances go for Ekitike or Florian Wirtz, then it might have been a very different story?
I think the problem for Liverpool is not creating chances, it's scoring the chances they create and conceding chances from the opposition. You know, for a player of these guys' qualities, there's a lot of top players out here, guys who we know what they're capable of. You know, these are the chances a guy full of confidence, Ekitike, you'd expect him to at least target there. But I think all in all, they'll be very disappointed. You know, Jamie made it a great point about there being a front 4, and you could argue that, as you say, if these chances go in, it's a very, very different game, and we talk about the positives of it all, but I think it's okay if you're going to be attacking, but then outscore the opposition, and that's, I know it's a simple thing to say, but that's one of the things that you have to do. If you're going to go more attacking, ensure that you're taking your opportunities. And these images show you a team that it seems as if sometimes they're incredible in front of goal, very decisive, brilliant, and other games they're showing
big
things
chances,
like this.
aren't there? When you look, they're big chances they're creating. And that'd have been a madness from the goalkeeper at the end. Obviously, 8 league losses so far this season is not good enough. But when your goalkeeper comes up and there's a bit of madness like that towards the end, that doesn't help. And last year, Liverpool won a lot of games by the odd goal, wasn't it? So maybe last year, I'm not taking away from winning the title last year. They weren't as good as we all thought. And now at this moment in time, you got senior players making big mistakes. Obviously, it's going to cost you.
That tells a little bit of a story, doesn't it? 2nd for shots per game, 16th for shot conversion. But I think you, if I'm right, Roy, you were saying at half-time that this is the approach that you wanted to see from Liverpool, a little bit end-to-end.
Yeah, just from the game today, from what I saw today, because City obviously had an attack in front 3, and there's still signs you'd never be writing City off for Pep.
But is it the right approach if it doesn't bring you results?
No, obviously not. Obviously, you'll have to tweak it. James made the point here where if Liverpool are this week in, week out, you're going, oh, hold on a second. But when Liverpool are the champions, and I've been critical of them, Man City come to town, and Man City are a bit off it, particularly away from home, you're thinking, kind of get your best players on the pitch. And if Liverpool were clinical today, they would have won the game. So we know football's fine margins. They had chances, and then a bit of madness at the end. So from my attitude looking at Liverpool today, I'm thinking, you're a big club. You had a go at them. You went, it's like 2 heavyweights having a go at each other. And they came off the wrong end of it. But overall, you can't be doing that week in, week out, because obviously you're going to come unstuck. But they did create loads of chances, and they weren't clinical enough.
Turn round in the last 10 minutes after Liverpool had taken the lead in a second half, which they'd grown into the game after City had the best of the first half, and then Szoboszlai's stunning free kick. You wondered if that might be taking Liverpool on the path to victory. First of all, we're going to have a look at the foul that led to the free kick, which is 30-plus yards out. Let's have a look at this. City weren't happy with this at the time. Is there much in that?
Soft, innit?
He just catches him there, yeah. There's a little bit of contact there. And we know players obviously are quick to go down.
So maybe slightly fortunate to get the free kick. And then keep your eye here on Donnarumma. You can see him signalling 2 in the wall.
Yeah.
We know that what Szoboszlai is capable of. Is it because he wants to see? Bernardo Silva tries to get involved in the wall.
Yeah, but I don't see the harm in putting another 1 or 2 in. Obviously, I'm no goalkeeper expert, but he's a world-class goalkeeper. He thinks, yeah, I can see it. But Liverpool are still blocking him from seeing it, the Liverpool players.
I think by the run-up, it doesn't look like he has the capability to do what he's done.
I don't know.
I think the shape of his body screams he's going the other way. He's put his foot through it and gone across the ball. I think the technique you have to have in your locker to actually execute that is more, for me, yes, you could argue the wall, but 30-plus yards out, hitting across the ball.
So what technique did you thought was going to go with the
way the angle he's at, you couldn't fathom that he'd do what he's done here. He's ran straight onto it, he's gone across it, and the keeper, I think, is surprised.
But I think he's got that in his locker, Daniel. I think he's got that in his locker. Look. I think he knows exactly what he's doing.
No, I know what he's doing. I know he knows what he's doing.
But you think that from the goalkeeper point?
To execute the ball, to execute the shot. You look at the foot, how he's connected with it. He's gone across it and almost dipped it a little bit. Like, I just give him credit for the technique for me. The wall, yes, you could say that, but to execute that.
But I think with the wall, why not just have an extra 1 or 2 anyway? Because you know he's going to shoot. It's not as if there's 2 on it, they might try and do something. You know he's going to shoot. He's obviously got previous a few months ago, a great goal against Arsenal. And I know it was a different type of free kick over the wall. But he's got that in his locker. Why just not get an extra 1 in there?
I'm sure on the back of the Arsenal one, there was actually talk on the back of that saying, why did Ryan need a wall? In some ways, no, I'm not saying Roy's wrong on that one, because you think you put a decent size in there. But sometimes there's talk of, why does a keeper need a wall? But then this is a perfect example why keepers have walls, because of situations like that. You think, how's he going to score from there? But if you give someone almost not a free shot, but he's not in the wall's not really doing anything, is it?
Yeah, but if you look at the height in which it goes, it would hit someone there, because it doesn't start rising till a little bit later, doesn't it? But I understand what you're saying there, Carragher.
It gives him the option, doesn't it?
It just gives him the option. You've got to go with 3 or 4 in the wall there, definitely.
30-plus yards out, though, that's the thing.
But he can hit them. How many times have we seen him do that? We know that.
3 this season.
But you know what? There's only 2 there. I think that encourages him. That's as if, like, oh, you don't think I can do it? Yeah. I think if there's 3 or 4, you go, oh, right, obviously he's maybe got to try and get over the wall like he did against Arsenal. But I think you're betting against him. And I bet he's up and going, I fancy getting it. I fancy getting that whip on it. I think his technique, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he's got it. He's got previous.
I think there were a lot of people in this stadium who thought 1 might be enough for Liverpool here this afternoon, particularly given City's poor second-half record this season so far. But Gary was saying that certain players, Bernardo Silva, Haaland, needed to do more. There they were, Mike.
Haaland didn't win enough headers in the game, but Stud, you want to talk about his movement here, the way he just drops off and then the delicate touch.
The movement was great, and I think during the game, Van Dijk won a lot of headers against him and bullied him a little bit. And I think for the first time, or one of the first times in the game, he's not on Van Dijk's side, and I'm not suggesting it's Konaté's fault. It's not. He's won a header. The reaction from Bernardo Silva to then act almost like a centre forward. Look at the timing of that run. It's almost big man, little man-esque. Yeah. As you 2 forwards and you're expecting your teammate to win the header. Carragher, from the defensive point of view.
I just think there's a deflection on this cross that it makes it difficult for the defender. Because when you're coming towards the ball like Haaland is, that deflection, whether he read it just a bit, but there was no way Konaté could ever win the header. He couldn't get there in time, and it was just... Listen, I wouldn't put too much blame on Liverpool. It was just a little bit of luck. It takes a deflection, he gets the header first. Could Van Dijk see the runner, but...
It was only the 4th time in the game that Haaland had won a header, and you were saying, actually, while we were watching the game, that if you were in his position, he's having that real tussle with Van Dijk. Get yourself away from him.
Get away, mate. Sometimes you have to say, all right, he's getting the better of me. Let me go and have a wander over there for 5 minutes. Let me see if I can cause this guy a problem. Because I do feel that psychologically he has a lot of respect for Virgil. You can see the way they're playing against each other. I think they shook hands at half-time and you're sort of thinking they have a lot of respect for each other. And I think sometimes you want to see a different picture. And he was seeing the same picture for the majority of the game. Staying on Virgil's side, whether the manager told him to do that, that's potential that he did. But he give the team another picture, give the opposition another problem. And I think the one time he did it, he wins a header and there's a goal.
It was the only time, just had it confirmed, the only time he contested an aerial duel with Konate in the entire game. And Jamie was saying that the deflection didn't help Konate out at all. What about the penalty? Into stoppage time, Jamie.
Listen, you just cannot believe it. A goalkeeper of that quality makes that decision there. I mean, it's not like he's not going to be able to cross the ball. It's actually too far ahead of him. All he could probably do there is knock it out for a goal kick. Nunes, really, and he's just made a crazy decision. Listen, we see goalkeepers make that mistake. And when
even this wide angle, sorry, Jamie, the ball is still in play when the foul is committed, which they've told us is relevant to the award of the spot kick.
It's just madness to find himself, make that decision. He doesn't make too many. Listen, what a goalkeeper he's been, but obviously it was in it. It was a huge mistake.
But I think it's one of them, Jimmy, with the goalkeeper sometimes. I know he's an experienced goalkeeper. It's almost, they get bored sometimes, even in a big game. You say to keeper something, mind your own business. That had almost nothing to do with him. He almost went looking for trouble. Crazy decision for an experienced goal. If a young goalkeeper done that, you'd be saying, all right, lack of experience or whatever, and naive. To do that.
Especially when Nunes' touch is taking it away from goal as well.
Just slow himself down.
So then we had a 2.5-minute wait while there was treatment going on, while everyone in the stadium is thinking, what is going to happen here? Szoboszlai is trying to get in Haaland's ear, as we heard. We didn't know if he was definitely going to take it, Daniel. You weren't sure if it was going to be Haaland's kick here or not.
Yeah, I mean, today's time you usually see someone else holding the ball for the penalty taker, so they take all the banter.
Strangely, might this have actually relaxed him, because he's a friend of his, really, just having a bit of chat and a banter with.
They're having a good laugh, they're having a good joke here. He's trying to throw a little banter to him, stuff that can throw him off, but as you can see from what Haaland said in his interview and in this moment, totally locked in on what I have to do technique-wise.
What a huge moment.
Yeah, it was driven low. Those ones, when you're that tall as a goalkeeper, keeping it low, powerful, side foot, going with conviction, executed perfectly.
Firmness of the strike, Micah, in that moment.
This is just brilliant. I mean, Jamie's talked about Haaland. Didn't think he had the greatest game as well, but in terms of moments, and he needed to step up in the big moments. That's why he gets the big bucks. That's why he's Haaland. That's why he scores so many goals. He doesn't have to play well, and he can still get it over the line, and that's the difference.
He had to take that penalty. If he didn't take that penalty, he'd be saying, one of the best strikers in the world, best finishers. Big moment for the club, big moment for him. Take responsibility, which he did.
Incredible moment for him. His first year at Anfield as well for Manchester City. But still, the drama was not done. Could Liverpool respond? Well, they could, and that's when Manchester City needed their goalkeeper, Roy.
Yeah. Listen, he's a vastly experienced, big goalkeeper. Yeah, he's made one or two mistakes, but gets maybe a slight deflection.
We had a great view on this.
Yeah,
it looked like it was destined for the top corner.
It did. And it gets a deflection. But I suppose I'm going to say that's his job, isn't it? He's a big man, he's got big arms, he's made one or two big saves, as we know, but he's made one or two mistakes over the last few months, but again, huge moment. You can see by the reaction.
Yeah. Great shot. It's worth seeing again, because it might well be a pivotal race when we get to the end of a pivotal moment, Jamie, when we get to the end of the season.
Well, listen, at the start of the season, I didn't think there was any way Manchester City could win the league because of the goalkeeping situation. No one wins a Premier League without an absolutely great goalkeeper. And there's no doubt, listen, he's a Champions League winner, what he's done in his career with Italy, winning the Euros. They've got a goalkeeper who you can win the league with. Before they signed him, there was no way City could win the league without signing someone of that calibre.
Brilliant performance at the perfect moment for Manchester City. City are going on the break because Alisson has decided he's going to maybe score the equalising goal, having conceded the penalty. So there he is, the man in green. Cherky from his own half actually thinks he might have scored here. But watch the tussle between Haaland and Szoboszlai. This is amazing, wasn't it? So the officials are saying they have no choice on this. You see the foul from Szoboszlai on Haaland outside the box, but then Haaland returns the favour by pulling back Szoboszlai, which cancels out the advantage. So they say they have no choice but to go back to the first infringement, which is Szoboszlai here on Haaland, going through to score. And that is denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. And it's just such a shame, isn't it? Because it was a moment that nobody really wanted.
No, but I think, referees get a lot of stake in VAR, but they've applied the law. So what they're supposed to do, we want to see another goal from Cherky, of course we do. But he's tugged him, so it is the right decision, no matter where you look at it. I mean, we want to see Cherky get that goal. I actually think Cherky could hold on a little bit more and then pass to Haaland. I think that was the initial problem. But then, you know, Szoboszlai, is it going to be 3 games? Did you have that
Well, I
confirmed?
think normally our information is it's 1. Denial of a goal scoring opportunity is normally 1. So that is our information right now. So that would be the Sunderland game that Jamie was talking about midweek.
It was great. It just added to the drama at the end of it, and obviously had no effect on the result.
If I'm Cherky, I'm fuming.
But listen, I go back to it. It's a stupid decision by Szoboszlai. For me, you just let it carry on and the goal goes in and everyone... I don't think anyone's complaining, but it's absolutely daft from him. Because he's got time to think as well, he's running back.
Does the goalkeeper have to be up there, Jay?
This is what Haaland thought at full time as well. Why did Cherky not pass him?
Come on, run after him. Run after him. Film him. Got booed all the time. Go film him. Go film him. Come on. He's there.
Why did not Cherky pass to me? Well, there you go. Mike is right, isn't it? He had a quiet game because of the impact of the battle he was having with Virgil van Dijk, but he comes up with a key assist and the winning goal.
Big game, and as we know, the top players, certainly it's just about moments. Sometimes you got a goal and an assist, and they'd be satisfied because that obviously affected the game and the result and the goals involved. And I'd have Haaland's had tough times here, and he's had tough times against Van Dijk, but he stuck at it and produced magic at the end. That's all you can ask for.
And that is Pep Guardiola's just 2nd ever win with City at Anfield, where David James, of course, played for both clubs, has been with us all day and sampling that incredible atmosphere at the end. I mean, Jamie, what was that like to be in the stadium for those last 5 or 6 minutes?
Hello again, guys. What a match. What an atmosphere with Liverpool leading. I mean, the noise here was tremendous, I have to say. The Anfield faithful singing along. And obviously, as you said there, was it 83, 84 minutes when the equaliser was scored, then all of a sudden it gets a little bit tense. That save from Donnarumma, I've got to say, that is, talk about match-winning saves. I mean, that is one of the best goalkeepers in the world, voted the best goalkeeper in the world, producing one of the saves of the season. So, tremendous atmosphere. The City fans much happier leaving, as you can imagine.
Absolutely. Now, while we've got you, there's been a lot of debate here about not only Szoboszlai's finish, but City's wall for Liverpool's goal. What is your take on that? Would you have done anything differently in hindsight if you were Donnarumma there?
You know, the problem, Steve, because he scored, he should have had more men in the wall. I've seen Don this season. I'm sure all the Liverpool supporters have seen him this season. The goal he scored against Arsenal was similar in effect, similar distance. Other than that, he's missed a target so many times that you trust or hope that he won't hit the target. Yeah, I mean, he could put another man in there. There's people in the way of Donnarumma. The key to this is the beginning part of this shot, as you see, is kind of at Donnarumma, so he's waiting for it, and then the outside of the foot, as we see there, spins off at the end, but it's perfect, in off the post. You are not going to see a better free kick than that this season, I don't think.
Now, we got a text message from you during the game. Was it 2005 you were in goal for Manchester City, you were saying, and you tried something similar against Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank?
Yeah.
Go on then, talk us through this.
OK, so this is the proverbial 30 yards out. I thought, that's fine, have a look at it. I mean, it even hits the net on the bounce upwards. It's a phenomenal strike.
That is, yeah.
Bad goalkeeper.
But you've got a 2-man wall there, have you?
Yeah, because I thought I'll be all right.
Too far out, Jamo. You only need
too far out. Who's going to beat me from 35 yards? Yeah.
Jamo, goalkeepers were at the centre of quite a lot of things today. What did you make of Alisson, given the penalty away late on in the game? Rash decision?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think the key thing about today, if you think of the second minute, he makes that one-on-one save against Erling Haaland. In this situation here, it is just hope more than anything else that the ball might skip through quicker. He's gone to ground. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, it's not the right decision. How can I put it? The best thing to do would have been not go for the ball, of course. Similar to Donnarumma, put 3 in a wall. It's easier to make the decision afterwards. But Nunes, I mean, it's a great little touch here. The ball hasn't gone out of play, which I think would probably be key with regards to the penalty. And unfortunately, it's gone. Apparently, I was sat next to someone who said that Haaland and Szoboszlai are good friends off the field. And
played together at Salzburg.
Yeah, and he said he's already told Alisson that Haaland's going to open up, which is exactly what he did for the penalty, but it was such a good penalty that he couldn't save it. But yeah, I mean, in hindsight, he shouldn't have gone for the ball, but unfortunately he did, and that led to the penalty.
Jamo, what were the Liverpool crowd like today? Because I thought when they took the lead, Liverpool started to drop deep. Was there an anxiousness in the stadium, or was it still very much behind them?
When they took the lead, I mean, the place was rocking. Yeah. Absolutely rocking. I mean, Arne had already made his decision to make a substitution because Curtis Jones was on the sideline before the equaliser. Yes. So he'd already sort of preempted what he was going to do. Unfortunately for him, the scoreline had changed by the time Curtis had gone on. But the fans were fantastic. The Jota song of 20 minutes was loud. Everyone was singing it. With the goal being scored, obviously, as I say, it got even louder. But 83, 84 minutes, Mackie. And Man City haven't been scoring in the second half of games recently. I think everyone here supporting Liverpool thought it was a done deal at 1-0. And then, as we know, Manchester City, and surprised us all, I think, in the way that they came in for that last 10 minutes and managed to turn the game around.
Top stuff, Jamo. Thanks very much indeed.
Good, mate.
Take care, guys.
David James at Anfield. When we spoke to Bernardo Silva earlier in the day live, he was honest enough to say, we knew if we didn't win today, we were out of the title race. Is that a timely psychological knockback to Arsenal, that you're not there yet?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you obviously get a winner late in the game, but the status of the game, it being at Anfield, there's so many elements that add to that psychological factor. So definitely would have been a boost for City, and also just made Arsenal more aware that his team isn't over and his title isn't over and done yet.
Now, how important is it they follow that up? Because they play on Wednesday at home to Fulham, and then it's Arsenal's turn to play later, and they go away to Brentford, where only one team have won this season.
Yeah, again, you just got to take it as you're going to win the game. So just the psychological factor that it'll be 3 points, and seeing 3 points is a big difference. Knowing then if you lose the game against City, then you're level. So regardless of who you're playing, when you're playing, you just want to see a stage where it's only one game's difference, and that'll be the case, hopefully, if City win on Wednesday.
Yeah, because if they've got the opportunity now to go first and just reapply a little bit of pressure.
Listen, 6 points, if there's 5-6 games left of the season, 6 points is doable, especially as Julian says, they've got to play each other, so that's all right. What City need to do now is they need to be the one that close as opposed to it going any further. Because once it gets to 7, 8, or whatever, then that's 3 big results that need to go your way. At the moment, it's 2. And as I say, with them playing each other, it feels like it's only 1. So that's important now, the psychology of it, but not letting that gap grow. I thought if they didn't win today, I thought it was over. City winning keeps it alive.